A few weeks ago, I had the chance to go out to California and collaborate on a few projects with one of the makers whose work I admire the most, Chris Salamone of Four Eyes Furniture. The expectation was that I would advance my skills and design sensibilities just by working alongside him. But instead, I made a dumpster fire. Oh well, this project may have gone up in flames, but hanging out in California with Chris was lit. I'll get to everything that went wrong and why, but first I want to walk you through the build process to give you a sense of what I was trying to accomplish and where that got off track. Here, I'll show you a drawing since the finished piece was, well, never finished. The plan was to make a record or a media console using red oak with 5 doors across the front. I wanted to power carve a scallop design across the face of the cabinet and give the whole thing a torch shou-sugi-ban finish. I started with this 4/4 red oak, which has been surfaced on one edge and 2 sides. S3S lumber, I think. I'm not sure. Anyways, the wood was kiln dried and required minimal milling work, but just to make sure we had a square edge, we ran one face over the joiner before ripping the planks down to 6 inches wide. Next, I added dominoes and glued these planks together to make the panels, which will become the main carcass of this cabinet. Once the glue was dry, I cut 45-degree miters on these panels, but this is when I encountered my first issue. These boards had a bit of tension in them and were starting to bow, even though I had made sure I had the grain running in the opposite direction during the glue up. The quickest solution was to rip off these miter corners to get the cabinet back to square, and then join them together using butt joints that are reinforced with dominoes. I cut down some oak plywood for the partitions and added some red oak cutoffs from the longer planks that would then serve as the edge banding. I used this jig to flush trim the edge banding and then cut the partitions to fit within the cabinet. Next up, I used a router and this other jig to cut the slots that will accept the partitions. And yeah, Chris has a lot of jigs. Initially, the plan was to have 5 doors that span the entire face of the cabinet. Instead of 5 doors, I decided to make 1 door to cover the entire face of the cabinet, which would then hinge downward. I could add a chain to each end to hold the door at a 90-degree angle, and this would create what is basically a long shelf. I just never made it that far, unfortunately. Using an angle grinder and a turbo plane, I carved this scallop pattern across the entire face of the door. For my shou-sugi-ban projects, I use a weed burning torch that runs off a propane tank like what you would find on an outdoor grill. And as a matter of fact, we got this tank from Chris's backyard grill so we could barbecue this cabinet. Okay, roll that beautiful burn footage. With all the facets on the face of this cabinet, I had to spend more time burning on the face in order to blacken all of these divots. Looking back, I believe this extra heat applied helped to weaken the door panel that was already compromised by power carving such thin 3/4 inch material. This is the moment when I realized the door was curling out away from the cabinet. So Chris and I decided to remove the door and burn the backside, hoping that adding heat on the other side would help pull it back flat. I set the door aside for now to finish burning the remainder of the carcass. Here, as I burned, I was careful not to apply as much heat as I did to the door, but in the end, it just didn't matter. The back corner of the cabinet curled upwards so much that it pulled the domino all the way out of the joint. At this point, I knew this project had flamed out, and it was finally time to just cut my losses. I literally threw this project in the dumpster. It sucks to fail, but it's moments like these that I'm reminded how much I still have to learn and how much failure is just a part of getting better. I'm disappointed this project did not go the way I thought, but I felt like it was important to share that story and all of my failures with you. In a second, I'll throw it to myself and Chris talking about everything that went wrong, but first I wanted to share some news with you that's guaranteed not to be a dumpster fire. Hey guys, so I just recently passed 100,000 subscribers here on this YouTube channel, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you. And today I'm launching my Patreon, and it's officially live right now. When you subscribe on Patreon, you'll get exclusive early access to new content, stickers, t-shirts, an online video chat session with me, credit in my videos, and all the warm fuzzies that come along with supporting this channel. Creating these videos requires a lot of time and resources, and I hope to one day get out of the red. And that's where you and your support comes in, so I can keep bringing the heat here on this channel. And if you're interested in all that, there are links to everything down below. Okay, thanks everyone, and now I'll throw it over to my chat with Chris about what we think went wrong. All right, take it away, Chris and Jonny. Okay guys, unfortunately things didn't go quite as planned, but I wanted to go ahead and stop here and take a minute with Chris here and talk to you about what happened, why it happened, and what I can do to hopefully fix this in the future.
Yeah, so I guess why don't we go back to the beginning and say where things might have started going wrong, and then we can get into where they really went wrong.
Yeah, so the main problem was with the front door panel. And what we think is that this wood, which is 4/4 wood that's been surfaced down to about 3/4 of an inch, was too thin for what I wanted to do to it, which is to carve in this scallop pattern to create this design across the door front.
Here are some of the things we know. The grain orientation was good. You had smiley face, frowny face.
Yes.
For its two boards that were glued together.
Yes.
It seemed to hold after it had scalloped. I mean, we scalloped it a day ago, came back this morning, it was fine.
Yeah,
it was holding its shape.
Perfectly flat, looked good.
When we burned the front edge, the textured edge, it turned into a taco.
Yeah, so it actually bowed up, concaved up this way. We tried to fix it, we flipped it over, we burned the back, hoping that would help pull it back straight. And that's kind of when we realized that carving in the scallop pattern probably weakened the front face and the wood grain and had it pull that way. So the idea then was to cut in some relief cuts along the back side of this door and then burn it again to hopefully kind of pull it back flat. But when we went to go do that, we realized that this corner of the cabinet right here had completely delaminated and was coming apart. And that's when I made the decision to just call it quits on this project, cut my losses, and then explain to you guys about what I think went wrong and how I can fix it.
Yeah, and actually something else to note. So if you go on my channel, there's a video up, if you haven't already seen it, that's kind of similar. We used the same wood, same technique. What's interesting is that yours, like the top delaminated, it basically kind of tacoed up also when we did the shou-sugi-ban technique to it. On mine, it didn't seem to do it as much. My widest panel is just a little bit shorter than 12 inches wide. Yours is about what, 18 inches?
18, and it's 3 planks that have been laminated together.
So there must be something going on where it's just getting exponentially less stable the wider that it gets. But yeah, it's kind of one of those situations where you could have gone a few ways with the video. You know, time was obviously a constraint. We don't live in the same area. He's got to get on a flight pretty soon here. I think that this project could be fixed by pretty much just forcing it back together with screws, countersinking them, plugging them, reburning it to kind of blend it in. That would fix the cabinet. I think.
There was definitely steps that we talked about taking, but there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
And I would rather bring value to this project by showing you guys honestly what went wrong, that not everything goes correctly. And I've talked about it before, but I really think that when it comes to woodworking, it's not so much that all woodworkers possess this special skill or that I'm some super talented woodworker. The things that I think are really important about woodworking is when you run into those problem areas and you're able to solve those problems and get past them. That's when like the true woodworking or building or making occurs, I think.
And we were able to achieve none of that with this project.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
And actually, I mean, to be honest, every project has those hurdles.
Yeah.
And you're going to have kind of time is going to be one constraint, skill is going to be another constraint.
Yeah.
Maybe we had the skill, but we didn't have the time.
Yeah, ran out of time. Oh well, we'll get it the next time.
He will.
Yeah.
I'll watch.
He'll watch the video. All right, thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye.